How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Daily Review, episode number 333. I thought I'd do something a little different on today's show. What I'm going to do is review two movies for you guys for the price of one episode. I'm going to be reviewing Rec, the Spanish film that came out in 2007, and its remake, Quarantine, that came out in 2008, and kind of compare and contrast the two and give my thoughts on them. Rec and Quarantine are about this woman who works for a news station. She goes to this fire department to kind of do a little piece on them for her show. The fire department ends up getting a call and going to this building, and once they're in this building, they realize that something very similar to people turning into zombies, flesh-eating zombies, is going on inside this building. The news reporter tells the cameraman, film everything, and what ends up happening is the police quarantine the building. They're not letting anybody out, and what ensues is kind of a found footage, kind of Cloverfield, Blair Witch Project, Paranormal Activity-esque sort of a zombie film. And I will say that I think both of these movies are very good, and I think I complain a lot on this video blog about how modern day horror films are not scary and that they aren't well made, they don't have the terror that certain films that I've seen have. And I will say that Rec and Quarantine, I believe both of them are scary, and I think Rec is a little more scary, which I'm going to go into why in a second, but I think they're both very effective, and I think a lot of it has to do with the style in which this film was shot. And I know a lot of people don't like the whole first-person found footage style of filmmaking, but I kind of dig it, and I think in a world where everything has kind of already been done, that's the one thing that people can do now to make something feel that much more realistic. And yes, as you're watching it, you know this isn't real, this is obviously somebody's directing these shots, these are all actors. But it does add a sense of realism to the film in the sense that when they're going down these hallways and these corridors, you're going down these hallways and these corridors. And when you see a zombie or something kind of stop in the light, or when the cameraman can't get the light to work, and really creepy stuff like that, it all feels very genuine and authentic. I do think that the reason that I would say I think Rec is a little better than Quarantine, although I will tell you right off the bat, I'm going to give them both the same score of a 4 out of 5. I do think that Rec is a little bit better, and I think the main reasons for that is that Rec is about 20 minutes shorter. I think it's a little less than 20 minutes shorter, and I think that it feels a lot more concise, and I think that it gets the point across a lot faster than Quarantine does. And I also think that Rec adds a little something towards the end, which I'm not going to spoil, but I think the final 5 to 10 minutes of Rec and Quarantine are almost the same. And I think that the way Rec goes about doing everything feels more terrifying. And I think the image or the zombie that shows up at the end of Rec is far more terrifying than the one in Quarantine. I also think that the backstory that they explain in Rec as to why everything is happening is subtly more terrifying than what goes on in Quarantine. I know this is all very vague because I don't want to give away any spoilers, but I do think that it is a little more terrifying than the explanation that Quarantine has. I do also think that a lot of the stuff in Rec is more subtle. There's a moment when somebody who's part of the battalion turns into a zombie, and in Quarantine you see them actually becoming the zombie, you see them getting bitten and all that sort of thing. And in Rec, when the camera crew just turns around, he's already a zombie. And I think it's that much more scary. I think the jump scares work in both of these films immensely well. I would highly recommend checking out both of them, depending on how you want to view them. I actually watched Quarantine first, and then I saw Rec. So it's up to you. Let me know if you've seen both of these movies, which one you find better, which one you find scarier. Please don't say you find Rec better just because it's the original, because I don't think that's valid. I think a remake can potentially be better than the original, although in this case, I do think the original is better. Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow with another one.